Hi, I'm Amanda Ferguson, and this is a project for my ENC class, and I'm going to tell you about the obsessive generation, also known as the millennials. Every generation is described differently. There was the Depression generation, those who were young adults during the Great Depression. We have the hippie generation, those who were young adults in the 60s. And if I were to describe my generation in one word, I would call us the obsessive generation. We are dependent and obsessive about numerous things. We are said to be the generation that will not outdo our previous generations, and in some regards, I think this might be true, because of our absolute obsessive personalities. So let's break this down a little further, and let's get a little closer to the root of our dependencies. We have this absolute ridiculous need to have the newest and best of everything. One of the easiest ways of demonstrating this claim is with the Apple products. Let's see. We had the original iPad, released in March of 2010. 3 short years later, there's already rumors circulating about the release date of the iPad 5. So in a matter of less than 3 years, Apple has been able to produce 3 products that are shockingly similar, and we're able to be profitable on every single one. Apple's own commercial proved that the iPad and the iPad mini have numerous similarities. As can be seen in the Apple commercial together, they interchangeably use the iPad and the iPad mini, showing them doing a bunch of different tasks, all of which were the same tasks. To me, this seems a little ridiculous, because why in the world would someone buy an iPad mini after watching this commercial when they already have an iPad? However, my generation is more than willing to get rid of their brand new iPad or iPad 3 for the iPad mini. Or even worse, they are willing to have both an iPad and an iPad mini. What in the world does this mean for our futures as leaders of this country? I'll tell you what it means. This means our generation has absolutely no concept of money. It would be one thing if Apple products cost $25, but no. They start at $399. So this means our future leaders are probably going to probably outbuying the iPhone 5 or the iPad mini right now, and in the future they'll be controlling our already sky-high national debt. This is only one of the qualities of my generation that I find outstanding. Another characteristic that makes our generation unique from previous generations is our complete addiction to drama television. In recent years, TV has gone from just an activity to pastime to an absolute addiction. People spend hours on end watching their favorite TV series. Some TV series that have taken the United States by storm, such as Grey's Anatomy, American Idol, Lost, Breaking Bad, Real Housewives, Jersey Shore, or Pretty Little Liars. These TV shows are different from ones in previous years because you have to watch every single episode to know what's going on. So, my generation has already committed themselves to watching hours of television. I find myself addicted to Pretty Little Liars, so let's start there. Every single Sunday during the season, from 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock p.m., I can be found on my couch, eyes glued to my television. It's absolutely pathetic. I changed my work schedule around so that I can be home when there are new episodes of Pretty Little Liars, even though the majority of my generation has a DVR, so they don't have to change their work schedules to watch their shows. They are still committing an hour of their life to watching TV show drama. And that's if they are just obsessed with one series. Pretty Little Liars is a show that no matter what, you have to see every single episode. If you skip a week and come back the next, you won't understand what's going on. Pretty Little Liars, according to wetpaint.com, is the most tweeted about TV series on television. Now let's take that into consideration for a second. So that means Pretty Little Liars is topping shows like American Idol and Grey's Anatomy, which you can hardly go through a single day without someone making some kind of reference to one or the other. Which brings me to my next defining characteristic. Our generations need to have everything here and now. We have grown up in a world with almost everything at our fingertips in any given second. We grew up with Google and iPhones in our pockets, and I have 2 keen examples of how our generation's speed obsessive. Let's think about our phones. The majority of us have smartphones, and we are dependent on them. We rely on them to tell us everything. For example, the other day I freaked out because I thought it was Mother's Day coming up real soon. Before smartphones, I would have had to wait until I got home, and I would have had to sit on my desktop computer. However, I just Googled it on my phone, and within seconds, Google gave me a quick response. May 12th, 2013. Thank you, Google. Because of that quick response, but that quick response was not because of Google's speed. Google's fast no matter what. I was able to get that answer so quickly because of my cell phone provider. Our generation must have the best provider because we simply cannot be without our phone for even 10 minutes. Our phones are our answers to everything. We have our entire life in our phone. It is our lifeline. In recent years, studies have been done comparing different cell phone providers' nationwide coverage. According to a report given on dailytech.com, Sprint is the slowest cell phone service provider. Sprint's 4G speed is even slower than T-Mobile's 3G speed. Reports like this go out to my generation, so they know to stay clear of Sprint, even though Sprint usually has the best deals on plans. For my next example of our generation's need for speed, let's think back to our favorite little phones, but let's look at them in a different manner. Let's pretend they're a switchblade knife. They're handy to have, and they're fine most of the time, but on the other end of the blade, they could also kill you. Our generation has a serious problem with having to know everything every second, the second it happens. And we can't be out of contact, hence the reason we need the best cell phone provider. And we have a tendency to take this switchblade out while we're driving, and it ends up killing us. We need to know what Billy sent us immediately, because it could be really important. But while we're reading the text message, hi, we slam into the back of another vehicle or drive ourselves off the road. According to Ryan Bradley's article, put down the phone and drive. Texting and driving takes lives. Texting and driving puts us at a 23.2 times greater risk of getting in an accident than if we just would have been focusing on driving. We have to know everything right away. We can't wait 5 minutes until we're in the Publix parking lot to read that text. No, we need to risk our lives and everyone in every other driver's life too, because we need it here and now. Another obvious defining characteristic, because we can't ignore the obvious, is the rapid expansion of social media. Our generation has taken networking and made it quicker, of course. Instead of the old-fashioned way of having a network of people that could potentially one day help you, we digitized it. The original MySpace started it all, but even in MySpace's heyday, it cannot match the power Facebook has had on the world. Facebook, with over 1 billion users, is the fastest growing, highest traffic website on the internet. People from all over the world use Facebook for entertainment, friendship, and millions of businesses use Facebook for advertising. According to Alex Tripp, 1 in every 13 people have a Facebook account. Also, Tripp claims that more than 48% of young Americans get their news from Facebook. If you think about this for a minute, it's probably accurate, because the second a catastrophe happens, 1 or 2 people will post a status along the lines of prayers for Boston. After seeing 2 things in a row about Boston, then the uninformed will turn on the news or possibly create a new tab and Google it. This obsession takes up a lot of time. As you walk around campus, a good portion of the people are walking around and have their noses in their phone checking Facebook. Goodness knows it's a good distraction when trying to accomplish anything. But where will this lead us to? That's a wonderful question. I don't know what this will mean for our future. I don't know if the Facebook will die out like MySpace, or if it does, will it be replaced by another social media? Or will we outgrow it? The last, but certainly not least, final characteristic I think defines our generation is our need to take things too far. I know that seems a little weird, but let me just give you an example and it'll make more sense. In 2002, everyone was reading this little odd series called Harry Potter about a wizard boy and his 2 friends. Okay, then came book 2, book 3, book 4, book 5, book 6, book 7. And 7 books later, author J.K. Rowling had about half the nation falling at her feet, kissing the ground she walked on. But no, we didn't stop with just this wonderful book series. We, of course, had to make it faster. I mean, come on. Who has time to read the last book? It was like 800 pages. We made all the books into 8 different movies. Everyone raved about the movies. Harry Potter, played by Daniel Radcliffe, became an overnight sensation. Emma Watson, who played Hermione Granger, became every boy's crush by movie 3. The actors and the storyline made it into the hearts of the millennial generation, and also older generations. But we didn't stop at the books and movies. We took it one step further. Now in our hometown of Orlando, Florida, we have recreated Harry Potter World into a theme park because the fan population of films and books was still huge even after 5 years the final movie was released in theaters. Thousands of people waited inside Universal for the grand opening of the gorgeously designed Harry Potter. Guilty. I was there. An ad played for the new theme park during the Super Bowl of 2010. The commercial targeted those who were obsessed with Harry Potter. The commercial made it seem as though at Harry Potter World, magic became real. You could fly with Harry Potter. We couldn't just settle for the movies because we wanted to be part of the series. This is not the last time our generation has become obsessed with the series either. Just a few short years later, the next big fad came around. Twilight. This teen fantasy series was everywhere. Hollywood took Stephenie Meyer's Twilight series and turned it into 5 movies, which are still among the all-time top grossing movies in box office hit movies list. The final Harry Potter movie is ranked 4, following Avatar, Titanic, and Avengers. So sorry, Twilight fans, Harry Potter is still better. The Twilight Saga was yet again not the last obsession to sweep the nation. It happened once more with a newer series, The Hunger Games, which is in the process of becoming a movie series. 1 movie has already been released and it was a huge hit. I'm sure this obsession will continue for The Hunger Games. I see this trend continuing also for the millennial generation. I think our generation will proceed to be swept away by the next big series. While none of these characteristics are particularly harmful, they will make for an interesting future for our country. We may be in some serious trouble when it comes to our spending patterns. We also seem to have trouble prioritizing our time when we have new obsessions, whether it be a new TV series or perhaps a new book series. However, we do have something working in our favor. Our generation is the most tech-savvy generation there has ever been. We have the technology to run the world, and goodness knows we have the idea of networking down. And it should be very interesting to see if what our generation does when it's our turn to call the shots. I think our generation has the capacity to outshine our parents' generation, but we have a few flaws that we need to file down first. Thank you.